Hi everyone, and welcome back to the YouTube channel of the Breakpoint Notes. As you know, the Breakpoint Notes is a newsletter which is available on Substack. Usually come out every Monday, so this episode is a bit earlier compared to the newsletter. Usually it's the other way around. But yeah, it feels great to do an episode today. It seems right since we are halfway through the second Masters 1000 of the season. So the topic we're going to talk about today are what's happening, what's the most interesting things happened so far in the Masters 1000 in Miami. We're going to touch on like a new star coming on the tour, Moïse Kouamé. And we're going to talk about Iga Świątek and her path, which isn't particularly great or not up to the level she used to be. First things first, ATP Masters 1000 in Miami is the second ATP thousands of the season, following up Indian Wells, the one won by Yannick Sinner in the final against Daniil Medvedev. So it's the one who completed the double sunshine and also ends the first part of the hardcourt season. After this one, we'll go back into the clay court season, which will lead us to the Roland Garros, which is going to be the second slam of the year. It's been a great tournament so far, with a lot of interesting things who happened. My favorites in particular are the victory of Ethan Quinn, the Americans, over Casper Ruud, which was unexpected, but if you see the recent results of the American, you wouldn't be that surprised. Is a great player, is coming up, and is showing a great level. It's also great to see Matteo Berrettini being at the level he used to be. He actually recently defeated Alexander Bublik, which is, a very tough opponent. I became very tough opponent in the last year and a half. So it's a great result for him. As we know, Matteo is struggling with the physical conditions, but the peak he can reach are very high. Remember, it was final in Wimbledon, semi-final of US Open, so is the guy who can actually have that level on it, tennis. But it's just unfortunately a struggle with the physical conditions, and it's great to see him back at the level he can actually be, where he can compete for titles. Then obviously the key is always the same, as you know, consistency. Consistency is key, and it's going to be hard to see him day in, day out, or actually week in, week out performing at a certain level. But if he can manage to pick the right weeks, not actually to manage to pick, like if he can actually perform in the right way in the right weeks, the slams, for instance, the Master Thousands, that would be great and super beneficial for this part of his career. So great. But with no further ado, obviously the match everyone was looking for was the second round matches between Joao Fonseca and Carlos Alcaraz. It was a long time waited match. And funnily enough, it came just after the one Fonseca played against Sinner. 7-6, 7-6 in Indian Wells against Sinner, 6-4, 6-4 against Alcaraz in Miami. They're both defeated, both losses, but to be fair with you, it was a great level showed by the Brazilian player. It was just a fantastic performance. Obviously, he isn't quite there yet in terms of consistency throughout the match. He loses points here and there, which they can make a huge difference when you count the whole balance of points and to win these matches. But to me, it seems like it could really be up there very soon. How soon? Hard to say. He's very young, so he's 19. He has the whole career ahead of it. Is also improving physically. He's shaping his, game plan. He still needs to find a few adjustments in terms of what he's doing on court, to pick the right choices. But again, 6-4, 6-4 against the number one in the world, and 7-6, 7-6 against Yannick Sinner. So it's a great statement. And speaking about statements, Alcaraz obviously wanted to show Fonseca that he's the guy, and he did it. Alcaraz seems to be in a supreme shape. He lost. It's true. He lost the semifinals against Medvedev just a few days ago, but it seems that hasn't impacted the game in any way. So we'll see what's going to happen in the second half of the tournament. And Fonseca, great future for sure. Tennis needs people, players like Berrettini, player like Bublik, player like also Fonseca, because the more the better. The variety is great, and to create a different type of players with different type of vibes behind them. If you think like Fonseca has a massive Brazilian community behind him, pretty much everywhere he goes. That's create an atmosphere, create a Davis Cup atmosphere pretty much in every stadium he plays. Now he's playing on the biggest stadiums as well. So it's great to see what's gonna be next for him and for the future of tennis. If we found the third player, it's a bit early to say, but let's say everything is in line for that to happen. Second topic, which I found particularly interesting this week, was the victory of Moïse Kouamé. Kouamé is a French player who is only 17. Has become the fourth, so the youngest player since Rafael Nadal to win a Masters 1000 match, and which is great. And I got a little bit of an anecdote to share with you about this guy. If you saw him on TV, you will see like a guy who is physically there. Obviously, the age, since it's quite young, he needs to shape his game, he needs to shape his technique. Sometimes he goes for shot that where he shouldn't. That comes with experience, comes with, refine and define the weapons he has to use. He can when to use them in, basically pick the right time to make the right choices. When I was in Wimbledon, if I remember correctly, was 2 years ago, lunch break, I was having a chat with a coach, former coach that I wouldn't name, but everyone knows the name if I mention it. Very important coach who coached very high profile levels, stars. Speaking about new players and potentials, candidates to get to the top of the ranking soon. We went through, again, it was just a chat, but we went through a list of names, and for him was clear that Moïse Kouamé was at the top of the list. It doesn't mean, and that will happen for sure, because as we know, many things happens in life, career, things can go in one direction or in another very quickly. But the guy has everything he needs to be at that level to reach the top. How far will he go? That's very hard to say at the moment, but it's great to see that he's putting milestones. First appearance on an ATP Montpellier, which happened just a couple of months ago. Then now the first victory in the Masters 1000. So the future is there, and we'll see what he'll be able to do it. The third topic, it's also the last one for the day and for this week, is about Iga Świątek. As we know, Iga Świątek has been defeated in Miami Open, and unfortunately is continuing this path of not performing particularly well against top players. She's a top player. She's 4 times Roland Garros winner. So she won also US Open, she won Wimbledon last year. So she belongs in that bracket. It's also clear that, in my view, since Paris 2024, so the Olympic Games, because she won the actual Roland Garros that year, but a few months later she wasn't able to to confirm that victory in the Olympic Games, which was long waited for Poland. There was big talk behind her. The expectations was basically to have like the gold medal already on her neck before to start the tournament, which is, as we know, in tennis is never the case. But to me, looks like after that loss against Zhang in semi-final, she lost a little bit of the path in terms of winning again, in the biggest stage against big competitors. Doesn't mean she hasn't won anything since then. It's not true. It's not the case. But Iga Świątek, unfortunately, has confirmed that she needs to find a little bit, again, a little bit of a balance into her game in order to be able to reach the top again, the very top, because she's again top 3, but to be able to beat top 5 consistently, which unfortunately, for instance, she has won 5 of the last 15 matches against top 10, and she lost the last 7, if I'm correct, 7 out of the 8 matches against top 10. So which means that they understood her game. They found the solutions to play with her, and that's a bit of a problem, because obviously when they're playing each other's, these players, these top level players, they're playing in the biggest stages, so which means semi-finals and finals. So that means for Świątek losing the chance to get another trophy or to get to another final. So to be honest, when last year won Wimbledon, I thought, but I think majority of people thought there was a click after that, because Wimbledon was probably one of the least surfaces where you would think, least favorite surfaces where you would think she would win, and instead she did it. She did brilliantly. You might remember the final against Amanda Anisimova, 6-0, 6-0. But winning that title gave her a little bit of a confidence. But unfortunately, then when it was about to get into the biggest stage, let's say US Open or Australian Open this year, unfortunately she hasn't confirmed yet. So Iga Świątek, she's super young still, very successful. She just need probably to sink a few things again, and she'll be back where she's. Obviously now the opponents are even tougher, because Sabalenka, she sorted a few technical issues she had, like, let's say, you might remember a few years ago there was the problem with the service, the second service in particular. Now Rybakina is back as well. She's back at the level she used to be, but now she also seems very consistent throughout tournaments, week in, week out. So we'll see what happens, but it's definitely, like I said, for the male side, even in the ladies side, it's great to have more personalities playing the game and interpreting the game in a different way. So we wish obviously Świątek to get back to the level she wished to be, because that's the thing, and so the WTA Tour just can benefit from that. This ends the today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. As we know, comments are important as much as likes, but comments are those they help us to understand what you liked, what you did not like, and also create a bit of engagement, which is great for the community. If you love tennis, if you feel like you want to subscribe, please do. It's a huge help as well. And do not forget to subscribe to the newsletter, which is something nice to read, maybe during your lunch break or coffee break, wherever you like. I believe we're going to see each other in a week after the tournament. Miami will be open, and then we'll see what the conclusions are. Bye for now.